Welcome to the Divine Word Alumni Association 2024 Volunteer Survey Results Report. My name is Art Roach, Perrysburg Class of 66 and Epworth Class of 70. I was involved in developing the survey and analyzing the results along with other members of the Alumni Association leadership team. We wanted to get a better understanding of how our alumni have been involved in voluntary activities after their time at Divine Word educational facilities. We focused on 5 categories of activities: church or faith-based, community organizations, educational volunteering, youth programs, and government volunteering. We used SurveyMonkey because we wanted the survey to be easily available to many people. All alumni members were invited in multiple communications by email, e-newsletter, website, the alumni Facebook page, and our mailed newsletter. This all took place between October and December 2024. We got a total of 179 responses to the survey, which is admittedly a very small percentage of the thousands of members of the Alumni Association. But we think there's a lot to be learned from the information we gathered if you responded to the survey, and if you did, thank you. Not surprisingly, just about half of the respondents were aged 71 or older. About a third of the respondents were in that 61 to 70 age range. Another way to say this would be that more than 82% of the respondents were age 61 or older, and the remaining 18% were 60 and younger. A tiny percentage of respondents to the survey were female. Again, not surprising, given the relatively recent arrival of female students at Divine Word College. This map shows the boundaries of the 6 regions of the Divine Word Alumni Association based on states and provinces. We have the West, the Mountain region, the Southwest, the Midwest, the Northeast, and the Southeast regions. Here you can see the numbers of respondents from each of the Divine Word Alumni Association regions. Almost half came from the Midwest. The next greatest number came from the Northeast. 22 respondents came from locations other than the United States and Canada, and the remaining approximately 25% in the upper right quadrant of this pie chart came from the West, Southeast, Mountain, and Southwest regions. We wanted to know which Divine Word school was the last one attended by each respondent. Of course, many respondents attended several Divine Word schools in succession, but only the last one is the one that's counted here. Divine Word College in Epworth was by far the most mentioned school, followed by Divine Word Theologiate in Chicago, Divine Word Seminary at East Troy, and Divine Word Seminary at Bordentown. If schools are not shown on this chart, it's because no one indicated it was their last school attended. So far, everything we've talked about has been demographic information. Now we're getting into the actual responses that people gave us about their voluntary activities. In the first category of church or faith-based activities, we see that liturgical minister was the most frequently mentioned activity in this category, followed by parish council or committees, and serving as a priest, sister, brother, deacon, or minister. We've also shown the color-coded age groupings for each of these questions in the next few slides to give you some sense of the demographic makeup of the respondents. For all of these questions, the red part of the bar represents respondents under age 60, the orange represents respondents between age 61 and 70, and the yellow respondents aged 71 or older. The second category was community organizations. There were many choices of activities that people could select from. And of course, in all of these questions, people could choose more than one because many of our alumni members have been involved in a variety of volunteer activities over the course of their adult life. Of all those community organizations that offer opportunities for volunteers, our Alumni Association most frequently chose serving on boards or committee members for not-for-profit organizations, followed by public speaking, and finally, blood drive volunteers or blood donors. In the category of educational volunteering, the most frequently mentioned volunteer opportunity was tutoring. This was followed by teaching English as a second language, or ESL, and then classroom volunteers and mentor program volunteers. Many of our Alumni Association members have volunteered in a variety of programs serving youth. Most frequently mentioned was sports coaching, followed by scouting and other youth club volunteer work, camp counselors, and sports officiating. The fifth category of volunteering that we asked about was government and civic volunteering. These numbers were generally lower than the other categories, but the most frequently mentioned volunteer opportunities was people serving as campaign volunteers, and the other three shown here were all about equally mentioned in second place: military voluntary enlistment, government board or commissions, and election volunteers. All the categories we've been talking about so far have been about what people did as volunteers outside of their main career areas. We also asked about careers, how they made their living. Survey responders could select up to 3 different career areas. We used a common list of career areas totaling about 18 different types of jobs. They are shown in the next 3 slides. Here we see that education and training is certainly the predominant career area among the ones shown in this slide. The second most frequently mentioned career area was business management and administration on this slide, and then all the others with much smaller numbers of responses in finance, arts, tech and communications, architecture and construction, agriculture, food, and natural resources. The second set of career areas, again, had one that stood out, and that was health science and healthcare information. Technology was next, followed by government and public administration, law, public safety, corrections and security, and then human services and hospitality and tourism. The third grouping of career areas shows religious service as head and shoulders higher than all the other ones in terms of frequency of being mentioned by alumni. Next in line on this slide would be marketing, sales and service, transportation, distribution and logistics, and then STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, and manufacturing. Looking at all 3 slides, the top career areas were religious service, health science and healthcare, and education and training. We can highlight a few findings from the data in the survey. First of all, many more alumni could have responded, but did not, and we'd probably have some more useful information if more people had responded. We find that more than half of the survey respondents are age 71 plus, disproportionately older than what we know to be true for our alumni membership. We also noted that the Midwest region is probably disproportionately represented by almost half the respondents, so there are a couple of reasons why we can't place too much faith in these survey findings. There are a couple of interesting findings. We think that active involvement in church and parish life is important to a majority of our alumni members, and community leadership in public-facing service opportunities are also not uncommon for our alumni. ESL, English as a Second Language tutoring and mentoring, are ways that alumni are carrying their SVD education forward. Reverence for nature and attention to physical well-being are evidenced by the alumni's choice of youth program volunteering. And a full 1/3 of our alumni have chosen to voluntarily serve their local state or national government. Finally, respondents most frequently identified education, healthcare, and religious service as their adult career choices, which is consistent with the classical education offered at SVD schools. If you participated in the survey, we're grateful. If you didn't, we hope that you'll pay attention to other opportunities that will come along from Divine Word Alumni Association, because we want you to learn more about your fellow alumni. Thanks very much for listening.